Hey, good day, everybody. I got something I wanted to talk about today, just about processes and the way processes work. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all are aware of, the way a process works, but I like to take things and break it down, in a way that it makes a little bit more sense and it speaks more to your spirit, more so than to just the physical traits or just the norm of the information. So what I want us to keep in mind as I go through this talk is that a process starts at the beginning with the end in mind. Now, what I mean by that is there's a lot of things that we experience through our daily lives that is a part of a process. When we raise our children, that is a process. When we cook something, that is a process. Now, a process usually consists of a lot of different components that individually mean nothing or has a smaller meaning, but collectively, and when you put it all together, that is the process, and it gives you a finished product that is beneficial to you. So the message that I'm really trying to send is, as far as in the process, do not become weary or leery of your position in the process. When we decide to raise our children, we have an idea of what we would like for them to be, how we would like for things to turn out, maybe some accomplishments that we would like for them to be able to achieve, a certain quality of life, certain standard of life. And we have all these different components that we put together. Most of the time it's unions, it's marriages, it's sending them to good, important schools, making sure they get proper education. All of the things are important in the process. Those are individual pieces to the process that helps aid for the final vision that we have, which is also the same as when we cook something. You may go in the kitchen and you may have a meal in mind. So see, at the beginning, you have the end in mind when you start. So that gives you the will and desire to push through the process. So you may decide to cook something, and you may have whatever it is that you might be cooking. You may have your eggs, carrots, your potatoes, flour, whatever it is that you make, whether you're making a cake, whatever it is that you're cooking. You have a final product in mind at the beginning when you start. And you cannot be halfway through the process and then give up, because that doesn't put you any closer to the initial idea that you start with. Now, this is similar to the way I believe God deals with us. He had a particular plan in mind. He had a process in mind. And what we cannot do is lose way or become discouraged where we may currently be in the process and fall away and lose hope. That's what we cannot do, because just as we do with our children, whatever meal it is that we may be cooking, God also started at the beginning with the end in mind. So whatever it is that you may go through, whatever circumstances it is that may come in your life, whether that be a sickness, whether that be divorce, whether it be issues that you may be going through with your children, maybe it's issues that you may be going through with your spouse, whatever the situation, you may lose a job, whatever the situation is, the consensus is that it's already been worked out. See, don't get stuck in the process, where you are at in the process, because there's more to the story. All of these different components, unemployment, sickness, health, all of these things are just components. Those are just pieces to a much, much bigger picture. Now, the difference is, and I think a lot of times where we fall off, is we're not able to control the process. It happens even sometimes when we're raising our children. When children choose to deviate somewhat from our desired vision that we have for them, sometimes we get flustered with the process, and we get flustered with them because they are not playing according to the idea that we have, the idea that we have in mind. So when we figure out we're at an undesirable place in the process, a lot of times that eats at us and that gets us, and maybe sometimes we may think it's a reflection of our own lack of effort, or maybe we feel like we missed something. But that's just not the case. In the same way, we have to look at the bigger picture, and we have to trust, and that's the key. We have to trust that God has a much, much bigger picture and a much, much bigger plan for our life in mind. That's the reason that we are here. It is purpose that brought us here. Flesh and bone came together so that a purpose on a divine level could come into time and space and operate. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here. That's why all of us is here. So we cannot get upset and we cannot get frustrated because of where we may currently find ourselves in the process, because improvements come. Things will get better. So just as we start with the end in mind at the beginning, God starts with the end. He started with the end in mind at the beginning. When he made Adam, he was not shocked by the things that would happen. When he created you and me, he was not shocked by the things that would come up on us in life and some of the hardships that we would be hit with. But what we have to do is trust in the fact that he has a much, 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 much bigger view of things from where he sits. And he's here too, but he's there. That's an attribute or a characteristic of his omnipresence. We have to trust in the fact that he is always accessible, always available, always with us, and always going with us through whatever it is that we may be going through. So wherever you're at in the process, don't lose hope. Keep hope and stay focused, because you will get through it. We all get through it. If you look back over your life now, you'll realize there's some things that you could have checked out a long time ago, but you stuck in and you stayed strong. Hold on to those times. Pass those times on to your children, to your friends, to your relatives, to your neighbors. Share and compare. All of that plays a part into understanding the process and how the process works. Everybody have a blessed day. Just wanted to pass it on to everybody. Peace.